So here's problem number one. It says that you're supposed to make 2 of these, assemble the end ribs. Greetings. Thanks for joining me again today on this YouTube channel. Today I'm up north putting up a ShelterLogic garage. I call it a pop-up garage. You take these metal support beams and you put them together, and then you put a plastic tarp that they provide over it. You've seen them before. At any rate, I'm having some problems with it, and I'm trying to get this thing put together according to the instructions, and I thought I was following them, but apparently I'm not. And then the more I look into it, there are some issues with the instructions and also with the quality of this product. So I'm not trying to knock ShelterLogic or whoever makes this. I believe that's who it is. But I am telling you that if you're going to get one of these, you might think ahead to have a couple extra tools on hand and be prepared for the problems. So here's problem number one. It says that you're supposed to make 2 of these, assemble the end ribs. So you're supposed to do 2 of these, and then you're supposed to do 7 of these. Well, as you can see on the 7, the bolt here goes through horizontally, not vertically. Same thing here. It goes through horizontally, not vertically. Well, in looking at those pieces, there are no pieces that they go through horizontally. They all go through vertically. So obviously this tapered end here that's been swaged down has to fit into here, and you can see that this is a horizontal bolt hole, but there isn't any horizontal bolt hole or place for a bolt to go there. There's only one on the top. So that means that one of these 2 is not correct. Well, if I take this and I flip it around, I'll show you what that looks like. So I switched that one around, and now you can see that there are 2 holes on the bottom, and when I put these together, that bolt will go through vertically. So in doing so, I went against the directions and I put them in vertically, not horizontally. So these are going to be my 2 end pieces. So I'll have one at each end. Now, what I'm going to do is create the other 7 over here. And obviously, I'm coming into the same problem here. There is no hole where I can put this one over here horizontally. They have to be vertical. So there is something wrong with the instructions. Then the next thing I want to show you is that their manufacturing process sometimes leaves burrs, and in order to get the pieces to go together, you have to have a couple different tools in order to make that happen, and here's what I've done. So this particular piece here, on the inside where they punched the hole through, there was a burr, and I could not get this for the life of me to go in. So what I've had to do is take a drill, put it in here, and try to grind down that burr that's on there until finally I was able to get it to slide in. Now on a couple of these, the burr is on this side or on this side where the hole got punched through. In that case, I've had to use this grinder to smooth it down, take the burrs off so that I could get the 2 pieces together. So those are 3 major things you need to know. Have a couple of extra tools like this, and trust your instincts, and don't depend on the instructions completely. A couple of other tips that you might need for putting one of these ShelterLogic shelters up is a rubber mallet. It helps in tapping some of the pieces together if they need to be tapped together. And also, what I've done here is I've labeled all these cups with the different types of hardware that are in them. When you get these, they're all in one bag. None of them are separated. It's like they couldn't put each part in a separate bag because it would probably cost them a couple dollars too much. Oh, by the way, some of you may be asking, well, what did you pay for this? I paid $1,400 for this ShelterLogic garage, and it is 14 feet wide, 12 feet tall, and 32 feet long. I put a bunch of gravel down. I'm going to put this up right next to my shed here, and I'm going to use it to park my loader in there. So it's something I've been hoping to do for quite some time. Now I know that the covering that's on there, that whatever it is, vinyl covering, isn't going to last very long. So what I've done is, you can see in the background there's another one of these that has that formed rib metal sheets on it, and it held up through 9 feet of snow in northern Wisconsin with no issues whatsoever. Same style building, same dimension for the tubing, was only 1 5/8, and it held that snow load. You know, it must be because it's rounded and because it's gray, it heats up, melts it off. There were no issues. So I'll keep moving along here, and hopefully you'll glean some interesting tips from this so that you don't go through the same troubles I'm going through at this point. Well, here's 2 tips. Number 1, they provide the bolt, carriage bolt, and a nut, and no washer. So I've been putting washers on all of these, lock washers, make sure that they don't loosen up. Maybe they never would, but I'm putting lock washers on them. That's tip 1. Tip 2, so I cannot get that bolt through the hole, and I could go on the other end and try tapping it, but then I might tap it too far. So what I've got here is just a regular Phillips screwdriver, and I'm gonna just pry it over a little bit, and now that hole lines up perfectly. Well, this is as far as I got. One side here is not put together, the other side is put together. And then it didn't come with, you know, any rails there, so I put in a 2x4, hoping that that'll make it more sturdy. This side's a little high. I still have to get under there with a shovel and dig some of it out. But for the most part, it's straight. And once I get it all together like I did on this side, Once I get it together on that side like that, then I'll have somebody help me put the tarp on it. I started this project 3 days ago, I believe, and this is as far as I can get it by myself at the moment. The next step is to just pull over the tarp, fasten it down, and it's done. It didn't call for this 2x4 or the 2x8, but I figured that was just going to make it that much sturdier. I was able to use 3 ropes and pull the top canvas over those ribs. When it's all balled up, when this top canvas is all folded, it's pretty heavy, but once you kind of set it up in an accordion fashion on this side, it picks it up a little bit at a time. So now I just pulled it up. I've got to get up there and start aligning it with the ribs and strapping it down. It's got like a web design. You pull tight on the ends and it fastens them down to the ground. So far, so good. Done this all by myself so far. Well, the only thing left to do is to tighten up the sides. On the bottom, from front to back and both sides, there's a rail. It's in pieces, so what you do is you take it apart, you put it through the pocket that's on the tarp, and then pull down on it, and that'll take out all of these wrinkles. So far, I've done this all by myself, so it can be done with a ladder and a winch. And this is what it looks like inside. I believe one of my RVs would fit in here too. I've got plans to convert my RV shelter into an actual cabin. Here's these rails that I was talking about. So all I need to do is disconnect them, put them in that pocket, raise all this up, and then pull down on it a little bit, and that'll tighten up the sides. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the large gap at the front and the back of the shelter. I'm going to have to do something about that because I don't want the air to get in under there. I think it's raised up because this 2x8 board, and also because the feet aren't in the ground. So each one of those overhead rails, I guess they call them ribs, those overhead ribs, could have been planted in the ground a little more, and then that would have been lowering the back and the front. I'm not trying to be critical about this shelter, but I wanted to show you something here that I just discovered. As you can see, I'm almost near the end of putting this all together, and the quality control on this is just terrible. I had the issues earlier with the pieces not fitting together where I had to grind off metal on several occasions. Well, anyway, here's what I just found out. So I just got done doing this side, and you can see where this sleeve right here, there's a piece missing, okay? It's actually folded down in there. and that's all fine and well. On this side over here, this is supposed to line up with this. This piece right here is supposed to line up with that so that I can get that bracket on there. Look at how far off that is. That's just incredible. So I'm having to make modifications in order to fix that. Again, I'm not trying to be critical. It's just an observation that I made. So if you're interested in buying one of these shelters, that you're aware of what you're getting. So this bracket has to fit on here, and it has to be clear of the bolt that's going through there. This side is just perfect, no question. But look at how far away this side is. So I'm losing all of this pocket tension holding down on here, and I'm just relying on all of this, which is okay, I suppose. But I believe this is off, and I don't believe it's off because of the way this is set up. I believe it's off. Someone cut this wrong. The other side turned out fine, and it looks like it's the same setup as this side. So what I'm doing to fix this is I'm cutting this up here like that. So this bar is going to go through this and through this and bypass this one, and then this bar will start here. And then the ribs of the garage go on this long board like this. Well, this is, like I said, 2x8. So in order to keep this giant garage from blowing away, wind could get inside of it and lift it up. I came up with this idea. This is a piece of 1/2-inch rebar. So I bought two 10-foot lengths, cut them each down to 3 foot. And so this is what the board would look like on the ground up north. So what this is going to do is it's going to go over the top of the board in 3 places on one side and 3 on the other. Then at the very bottom of this piece of metal, there's another piece that's 3 inches long that's going to get welded on here. And that is going to go into the ground, and cement is going to encapsulate that little T at the bottom and part of this rebar. So there'll be almost 700 pounds of concrete that are going to hold this garage down. So in order to get this shape, I created a jig. So the jig shows me where to bend this, shows me where to bend this, and I'm able to do that all with a acetylene torch heating it up. So I'm going to show you that right now. The first bend is in this right here. This gives me the length of this first bend. So now the only thing left to do is to weld that little piece at the bottom. So this is what I was referring to, is this rebar here. Just goes over the top of this board. And then you can see that a T is at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that or not. The T is at the bottom. And so I think this hole here, it's about 2 feet plus deep. It's going to take at least 2 bags, but I'm thinking more like 3. And hopefully it'll never pick up from the wind and lift it off the ground. Well, if for no other reason, this is a matter of record that I'm putting in an underground electric to the second garage here. That's a 2x12 treated piece of lumber. It's 2 feet down in the ground. And I put in these lag bolts so that'll catch the cement. I won't be able to pull out. And then the conduit's going to come up along the back side of the board, go under the footing board, and then run on a straight line into the shed. And this will be at least a 30 amp service. This one is going to have a RV plug on it, so that an outlet, so that if someone brought an RV here, they could just plug into that. And it'll be switched and it'll be locked inside the shed, so you can't really just pull up and plug in. There won't be any electricity there. But things are coming along quite nicely. The cement is 1,020 pounds, 17 bags of 60 each. So it averaged out to almost 3 bags per anchor. So I'm sure that this is going to be just fine. It's not going to blow away. Eventually, when this canopy, this tarp, as I call it, wears out, which it will in 3 years possibly, then I'm going to end up having to take it all off and then put steel on it, much like this one. It started off as a canopy, and now it's 6 years old, and you can see how bad a shape it's in. And now this has that ribbed pro steel on it, and it's screwed right into the ribs that are in here. So I just need to connect this pipe using cement, PVC cement primer and cement to put it together. And once I get it under there, I'll show you what that looks like. I did not electrocute myself. Anyway, so one of these poles over here, that's new, goes underground, comes up over here, which got flooded today because I have to put some more dirt in here and grade it out. But this is temporary up here. I'm going to put a box here with some breakers. Good Lord, I can't see anything. It doesn't look like a garage. Ta-da! So I got one light up there. And then this one here is just to remind me that it's on, like during the daytime. This is a night light. So you turn that off if it was dark and you wanted to find out where the switch is. It's pretty easy to do. There's going to be a breaker box up here, a little one, so that there's an outlet down there. The white one is for, you know, stuff inside the garage, and the other one there is an RV outlet. So there'll be a breaker box up there. I just got done putting in this electrical this morning, this box right here. So it's an outdoor box. I only got 2 switches in there, 2 circuit breakers. One of them is for the lights and the other one's for the outlet. And then the breaker for that RV box, that's inside the main shed there. So like I said, it's real close to the door here. If somebody wanted to, they could pull up alongside, plug in. It won't be on when I'm gone, but you know, for guests, stuff like that. And the light system, it's really pretty bright at night. Works really well. So that is the new garage and the new light. Good night.